Alright guys, today I'll be ranking every themed area at Universal's Epic Universe. Now this is going to be a bit of a weird video to do, because there's a lot of things that go into a themed area, but what I will not be including are attractions, so no rides will be included. This is just purely the theming and the atmosphere. I won't be including any food, because I didn't have food at the park, I'm not going to lie. And then I also won't be including queue lines. This does mean I won't be including the atrium from Battle at the Ministry. I see that as more of the queue for the ride rather than a walkthrough, because you can just walk through it, but I see it as more of part of the ride, so that won't be included. So let's get started with the list, with number 5 being Super Nintendo World. I know this is a lot of people's favorite. I know a lot of people have all of these lands as their favorite, but Nintendo in particular seems to be a fan favorite. And I could see why, but it's just not really my thing. My main issue is just how crowded it is. There is not enough room for all the people in this land. It's very congested, and I feel like having a lot of people in a land like this sort of takes away from the immersion. I know that's really hard to control, especially since you want more people in the land than less. But if I'm just by myself or with a group of friends, that feels a lot more immersive than seeing a whole bunch of tourists walking around the area. I don't know. And I feel like that's definitely the most prominent in this land. Like, everywhere you look, like 9 out of 10 people are just standing in the middle of the pathway taking a picture. And it's kind of annoying. Like, as you noticed, I'll have to use a lot of other people's footage in this video because I didn't take a whole lot because I just wanted to soak in the atmosphere. So, I don't know. I would rather people just put their phones down and enjoy it, but that's their problem. The land itself is really cool. It's got a lot of neat animatronics scattered throughout. I love Bowser's Castle. My favorite part is probably honestly Donkey Kong Country. That area is really nice. I do like that. It's pretty good at mimicking what it would feel like in the game. It's very colorful, very vibrant. I could see why a lot of little kids would like this, and even some adults. But again, I just feel like it's too crowded, too small. And even still, I don't feel like Super Nintendo's like a really huge IP for me. And like, either way, I'd rather see an original land than an IP-based one. But like, even still, I feel like this one definitely feels the most artificial out of the 5 lands. It feels like they really wanted to create something grand, but also try to make a ton of money off of it, which again, that's the whole point of the park. I get it, but I want like an area that feels the least like it's trying to extract as many dollars out of me as possible. I'm sure if you were into the power-up bands and doing all the challenges and stuff, this land could be higher too, but for me, I gotta put it at 5. Moving on to number 4 is going to be Isle of Berk. This one has a lot of potential, but there's one real big thing that holds it back, and that's the sight lines. I just can't get over how blatantly obvious it is that Stardust is right next to you, and it definitely kind of ruins like the Viking immersion. And the only other real complaint I have with this land, other than it's probably the weakest in the park for rides, is that Hiccup's Wing Gliders, yeah, it looks okay, but it's still like normal roller coaster track spread out this land that's supposed to be looking like Vikings. Like, I don't know. I feel like if you go to Fantasia Land, like I haven't been obviously, but it looks like Fly just is absolutely integrated perfectly into the area. Like, the track looks like it's supposed to be there. I don't know if the track for Hiccups looks like it's supposed to be in that land, but besides that, this land's incredible. This is the complete opposite of Nintendo World in terms of size. Like, this thing has huge sprawling pathways. There's a lot of room to walk around, so that's definitely a huge plus for this land. The grand entrance of this is definitely a really cool reveal, and this is still a pretty middle-of-the-road reveal for this park, which is really saying a lot. I didn't mention it, but the reveal for Nintendo World is really cool if you can get like a sight line without a lot of people in the way. But this one's also amazing. You have those like 2 dragon statues or whatever, and like the big buildings and everything that look really immersive, especially to the right side away from Stardust. That's really cool. The other really good part about this land that's also featured in another land later on the list are the walk-around characters. Yeah, you have the dragons, of course, that's the main appeal, but there's also some other cool walk-around characters that are pretty funny. This was the land I spent the least amount of time in just because I went here first, knocked out Hiccups quick, and I didn't really feel a need to go back in for a re-ride on that when it had an 80-minute wait. But I would have loved to spend more time here and really appreciate like all the buildings. Like the buildings look like they had like a ton of detail on them, really make them realistic. So that's really good. They have a pretty cool looking play area that looks very well themed. But for me, there's 3 better areas in the park. Coming in at number 3 is going to be Wizarding Paris. This one is pretty impressive for me, especially since I thought this was going to be actually the weakest area in the park. Just because I know myself, I know I'd rather have something that looks more made up, more like a world you wouldn't get on Earth, rather than something ultra realistic. But I thought they actually did a good job of sort of making this feel more wizarding than it could have been. They could have easily just done like some random buildings in France and called it a day, but I feel like these buildings feel a little more magical than just normal buildings. I don't know, maybe I'm stupid. I haven't been to France, I can't tell you. But like this definitely feels different than just like a normal street you'd walk by with some fancy buildings. Everything here is ginormous, yet it still feels sort of small and contained. I will say this is definitely the second most crowded land in the park behind Nintendo. It's not as bad as Nintendo. Like you can get some breathing room here, but it definitely feels a little more cramped, but I don't mind too much. I think that circus tent in the middle of the land sort of helps with like the magical feeling for some reason. Like it feels more like a wizarding world than even like Hogsmeade. I feel like that area honestly just feels more like old snowy England than anything. I don't really get the same kind of like wizarding magic there, and I think that's just because there's more shops and stuff rather than actual interactive like magic creatures or whatever. Because here you have the wands as well, but I feel like I saw a lot more of those creatures and interactive elements like through the windows when I was walking by than I would see in Hogsmeade. So I definitely like that about that. You could see everyone interacting with that. Just everywhere you go, like even the side path with no rides, I walked down there at the end of the night. That's just really cool to look at. It feels like you're just walking through this grand magical town. It's really nice, and everything here is ginormous. These buildings are absolutely huge, and that like entry arch is also really nice to walk through with the phoenix and everything. So yeah, this is a fantastic land. I was very impressed. But coming in at number 2 is going to be Dark Universe. I would say this is the land that was closest in line with my expectations, and it was great. The one thing I want to get out of the way right now that I know a lot of people trash on is Curse of the Werewolf. I actually like the netting. That sounds really weird, but I think the netting actually adds to the immersion. It looks sort of like these weird black spider webs. It's definitely really cool. It looks better than it would if it didn't have the netting, which I know I'm like the only person in the world that thinks that, but yeah, I like this area because of the netting. You've also got a lot of other really cool buildings as you're walking in, and this feels more like a build-up to the grand reveal than any of the other lands, because the other ones you just get that grand reveal right when you walk through the portals. This one you walk through the portal, and this is the coolest portal too. You're just walking through like all this lightning and smoke, and at night you have like actual smoke in this area and stuff. You do during the day, I think, too, but I wasn't paying attention as much. But yeah, you just walk through, you see like this graveyard, everything looks abandoned and haunted, and then you like slowly build up to the castle. And the castle's definitely like one of, if not the coolest building, like in any park. And this land's definitely a nighttime land. Seeing the castle just shoot off lightning and everything at night is one of the coolest spectacles ever. And again, it just feels like an actual haunt. It feels like if Reaper's Revenge wasn't trying to actually kill you here, this place was legit. And this one also had some walk-around characters. I would love to see them do like actual haunts in this area during Halloween season, but who knows if that's going to happen. Probably not. But the walk-around characters were great. They had like string players that were good. They're really talented. And then obviously you got like Invisible Man and all that stuff. That's really funny. I didn't go talk to him because I had rides to do, but still, it's really cool in here. There's a lot of good stuff. Burning Blade is cool when the fire shoots off. And then like all the buildings just look so immersive, so detailed. Like they're actually like putting in a high budget haunt here. I will say this area is actually kind of hard to see at night, which just makes it even more immersive. It's really cool. You almost get tricked into thinking like everyone walking up to you is a scare actor because it looks like it should be a haunt set. It looks like it should be the most expensive haunt set in the world, but it isn't. So that's one unfortunate aspect. If they had real scare actors, that would be amazing. But this is still absolutely phenomenal area. But for me, the best area in the park and my favorite area of any park period is Celestial Park. This area is pretty much perfect. This encapsulates everything I want a themed area to be, and especially an entrance area. Like I've pictured areas such as this, like before this park even got announced, like I was like 10, 11 stuff and all the way up to now. This type of area is exactly what a front entrance area, or really any area, should be. I actually think one of the few flaws people point out with this area is the area's biggest strength, and that is that it's not super grand, and like nothing here is like super gigantic except Helios. Like everything's a little smaller than people expected, but I think that actually works to its advantage. It makes it a lot less in your face and sort of seeming like they're trying too hard. Like when you walk through the Kronos, like that could have been ginormous. It could have been, whoa, look at that thing. But it's a reasonable size, but it's not too big. It's just big enough where you like look at it, you walk through it, and it's just this jaw-dropping moment. It feels like it's actually natural, like this cosmic area has always been here. And then that grand reveal, looking out at everything, has to be the best part of any park visually. You see those great statues and the water shooting off and everything. Like the water doesn't even like just shoot off for the nighttime show, like it does all sorts of crazy things throughout the day. And like it just constantly goes on, and there's constantly that water to look at, and that combined with like the space theme. I don't know why they went for a space theme combined with like a water theme, but it just worked perfectly, so good for them. And once again, none of the buildings, none of the fountains or anything are too grand, but that makes it more realistic and immersive, I feel like. I feel like if everything was this grand, ginormous thing, it would just feel like, yeah, you're showing off. We know you have a lot of money. We know you can build these giant things. But like if you create this level of detail, this level of beauty and wonder, like on this scale, this like realistic feeling scale, like that's a lot more impressive to me. This area makes you focus on the entire package of the themed area rather than just one building, one cool animatronic or piece of theming like some other areas do. This place has a fantastic combination of like natural beauty, like flowers, like trees that'll grow in the future and all that. I don't even mind the shade problem. Like everyone says you're going to be baking in the sun. Like no, it's not that bad. So many other parks have shade issues and this one's not even that bad. And I just don't think it would feel the same if it's like littered with trees throughout. I think the fact that it's so open, you get to see everything, again, you get the grand reveal, but nothing in the grand reveal is like, whoa, that one thing's incredible. So you get to just focus on everything and really take it all in, because everything's equally as incredible in this area. And like the whole package, just the combination of things they put in this area, between the buildings, the way they set up the lamp posts and the pathways and everything, just look perfect. At night, it might even look better. I don't know. Everyone says, yeah, duh, it's better at night. But in the day, there's just something about walking around like in the sun and like actually feeling the atmosphere, like without all the lights and stuff, just looking at all the decoration naturally. Like this looks like a true park, but combined with like this godlike space area, which is like perfect. I love that. But like at night, it's obviously incredible. You got like the stars shooting across each other. Stardust Racers looks incredible with those trains flying by. Yeah, it just looks like there's a ton of stars shooting around the entire park. That's insane. So overall, I mean, this park is truly incredible in terms of theming. There's nothing quite like it. But I mean, Celestial Park, the center of it all, like the thing that really connects all the areas and like the story of this park is driven by this area. And I think that's so cool. That like sort of main central hub connected like to a storyline, like spewing out all these other areas is like something I've wanted to see for such a long time. And to see it actually executed this perfectly, like it's got to be my favorite area, not just of the park, but of all time. So that is my ranking of the themed areas at Epic Universe. Let me know what you guys thought of this video down in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.